Today we're talking about the good old Floyd Rose tremolo system. Last week I saw an interesting video about someone talking about the Floyd Rose system and why the person thinks it's disappearing out of the guitar world. And to me personally, I don't share this opinion. I don't think that it's disappearing. It's just, it's still there after all those years. And I'm a big fan of that system. And today I would like to tell you why. So first of all, if you are not familiar to tremolo systems, the Floyd Rose is a 2-point trem system, which means that it has these 2 screws here where the bridge is hanging. And you can move the bridge with the tremolo arm in this direction and also in the upper direction, at least with most guitars where you have here this wood taken off. And on the other side you have a locking nut usually. So the strings are locked on both sides. So here you have to remove the ball ends of the string, and then you have basically to tighten the string with these screws here, and here of course you have the locking nut, and also you have the fine tuners here for adjusting the tuning a little bit. And to me this is the best way to get your guitar in tune, because well, the strings, they can't move. And because they are locked on both ends. And the only thing that can move is the bridge. If it's set floating, like you can move it in both directions, then maybe if you push it down very far, and then maybe it will not go back to the perfect position. So that would be the only way that the guitar will get out of tune. At least a little bit, and but usually that doesn't happen if you're using the tremolo only one way. In other words, if I do some whammy bar action here really heavily and then come back, the guitar is still in tune. If I go up, guitar's a little bit out of tune, because when I'm coming from this direction, it doesn't go back to the straight position 100%. But what will help is if you were going down a little bit or hit on the tremolo button, then it's in tune again. So for me, that is the only system that stays in tune really perfect, except as I explained, if you move it in both directions and then you don't go back and push a little bit on the tremolo arm. So usually what you do is, if you are someone who uses it heavily in the upwards direction, which is maybe not the case with most people, then you should tune it like that it is in tune when you come back from the upwards position. If you're using it mostly downwards like me, then maybe you should tune it like that it's in tune. Now you're using it downwards, going back to the perfect tuning. Of course, there are other double locking tremolos which are working similar, like the Ivana ones and also the licensed ones. Here, this Floyd Rose is a 1000 series tremolo in the Harley band Fusion guitar. To me, it's one of the best Floyds out there. I heard discussions from people who knew maybe better than me about Floyds and about how hard the material is. But honestly, I got a couple of other guitars, Jacksons, with a Jackson licensed Floyd, for example, and I've never had any problems with these. In fact, the only Floyd that got broken one time, where one screw got broken, was the one on a very high-end Jackson custom shop guitar. So, I don't know. And the Ivana tremolos are also really nice. That's it for the Floyd Rose, but Of course, there are other tremolo systems which are, in my opinion, not as stable as the Floyd. So let me get one guitar for you to show it. So here we have a Fusion HSH guitar, which I also love, which comes with the Wilkinson bridge. It's also a double, a 2-point tremolo, sorry. You cannot move it backwards, and it doesn't come with a locking nut. Instead it comes with a saddle and locking tuners. And this guitar, it stays in tune quite well, I have to say, but if I use it heavily, what I discovered, you can hear it here maybe, G string is out of tune. So let's try it out again. Yeah, it goes out of tune slightly. Only the G string, but anyway. This is more obvious to me when playing live on my Indian monitors. What you can do is you can bend the G string, and then it's back in tune. And why is that the case? Well, the thing why this guitar, or especially the G string, doesn't stay in tune is here. It doesn't have a locking nut. And of course the strings are not locked here, but in the bridge they always go back to the original position because they're ball ends and they go back until they can't go further. But here the string is a little bit angled when leaving the nut. It's pushed down. Although this guitar has staggered tuners, it also has this roller tree which is pushing the string down. As you can see, it goes in an angle, not straight through the nut. And maybe also the nut is not perfect. I don't know. They're graphite nuts, which are maybe better, or bone nuts. I don't know about these things. But anyway, that is the reason that it doesn't stay in tune that well, because the string is locked here on the tuner, but it doesn't go back to the original position because it's somehow hanging here in the nut when going back because of the angle. It doesn't come back 100%. And well, that is especially the case when the string leaves the nut in an angle. Can be going downwards like this to the headstock. Can also be an angle like this direction, which I can show you on a PRS style guitar, which has this problem. And then these strings, they don't go back in tune 100%. It's with this guitar, it's only very slight. And if you use the tremolo arm only a little bit, everything perfect. And also it sounds a little bit fuller than the one with the Floyd. I don't know why, but it's maybe due to the construction. But it doesn't stay into 100% like the Floyd, I would say, at least if you use it in one direction. Maybe only 95%. And again, if you bend the G string, then it's in tune again. And the other strings with this guitar are fine. Maybe the angle, it's not so drastic then. Maybe the D string can also be a problem here. So, well, what is my conclusion? I wish this guitar would have a locking nut like the Floyd, because the bridge is great here. I don't need it to go up because I don't play with a style like that. But I think with a locking nut, it would stay in tune perfect, even if the strings are not locked here in the bridge. So let me show another guitar. And this guitar is like a PRS style. It's a Fame guitar with a piezo bridge. It's a kick-ass guitar. But as far as the model goes, it's of course like a PRS style guitar. Here you can see the G string and the D string, they're going in an angle, leaving the nut in an angle way more than on the other guitars. And so this guitar doesn't come with a tremolo system, but even here, if you bend the G string very hard, sometimes it goes out of tune. And especially if this guitar would come with a tremolo, like the Harley Benton PRS style guitars, the CST 24T, which I also own, but I don't have any of these here in my room. So that is a problem which I personally have with these PRS shaped guitars. Yeah. So if they are coming with a tremolo and a locking nut, then they're also perfect. But yeah, other than that, I mean, especially the ones with the tremolo and no locking nut, they have that problem due to the layout of the headstock. And that is a shame. So to me, that is the biggest problem, why guitars are going out of tune. The nut here and the strings going in an angle. And also roller trees or string trees like on the Fusion guitars, they don't really help. They don't do anything because they're just pushing the string. What can help is maybe to adjust the nut a little bit if you know what to do, or install a better nut. But I prefer a locking nut, as I said. So of course the Floyd Rose has a distinct tone, slightly more scooped, I would say, than the other tremolos, and also of course the fixed bridges. But that is something which I personally like, and of course you can also get rid of that by adding a little bit more mids in your overall tone. So I can recommend the Floyd if you know how to set it up. It can be a little bit difficult. If you're changing strings on the Floyd, it's really not a problem if you do it one by one. If you're changing the string gauge, of course, then it can be a problem. You have to adjust the screws. But I showed you that in other videos. Yeah, so that is my contribution to the discussion about how useful a Floyd is. In my opinion, it's very useful, mostly because of the locking system. And yeah, even if you don't have a Floyd, if you like tremolos, I would recommend to get a locking system in your guitar, if at least a locking nut. Anyway, so what are your opinions about these things? Please post them in the comment section below, and of course hit the bell, like, subscribe. See ya.